Fire away.
Gunner. It seems like you have a lot of guys who can play there. You also have some guys on the practice squad. How do you guys make the decision on who should be the primary guys?
It kind of goes back, I mean, from the 53, getting it down to the 48, and then what's everybody's value and what are the pieces to the puzzle. Fortunately, we do have some guys, but at the same time, it's just kind of, you want to make sure you're developing a bunch. So whenever it comes up and maybe a guy is not available, you got somebody else ready to go.
When you have somebody who's got the size and speed of Amari Barno, and just in general, how much of an advantage is that for your group and all the core four?
Oh, it's really good. I mean, we're glad we have him. He's a guy that when we got him last year, we were trying him some stuff on the inside core, and then you just noticed his size and his speed. And you said, it'd really be nice just playing him at gunner, and he's done a really nice job. There's not a lot of outside linebackers that are playing gunner, and so that kind of that helps us just with the strength part, especially when he's getting doubled.
Year two of coaching Eddy Piñeiro, what strikes you about him?
I think he's still working on his craft and still working to get better. Been really pleased with that. And he had a good session yesterday, but there's still some technical things that he wants to work through, and I think that's where we're at. I just appreciate how he's been approaching each season. I mean, I had him way back in Chicago, so I've kind of watched him grow from there to here, and he's just getting better. So happy, pleased with him.
He's returning to Atlanta after a difficult day in Atlanta last year. Have you broached that subject with him at all? Where do you think his mindset is about that?
I think it's good. Haven't talked about it at all. He had a bad day, I mean, we could turn on golf and somebody's having a bad day. It's just one of those days, and that's what happened. I think what he did after that kind of speaks to who he is, and we're just trying to build off that.
How much is having the two vets also with him? I mean, the scene afterwards in the locker room was pretty special because you had all those veterans kind of surround him. How did JJ and Johnny factor into that kind of bounce back?
Oh, they're great. I mean, it's kind of like having two big brothers, really, for Eddy, and he's embraced that role, and they embrace it also. But to be able to have those guys as sounding boards, hey, I had a tough day. How do I bounce back? What did you guys do? I'm sure they've had rough days. And he takes to their advice, and it's worked out well.
When you think back to the version of Eddy that you coached in Chicago to who he is now, how is he different?
He's a lot of answers run through my mind, but no, he's matured as a pro. He's still learning things and learning about himself and his routine. He has a routine now, whereas when we first had him, he was learning what a routine is, if that makes any sense. And he's just grown. He's a guy but there's still a lot of same similarities that he's always had. He loves to attack kicks. He wants big kicks. He's a competitor, so I'm glad he's with us.
Chris, the other answer that ran through your mind that made you chuckle?
No, because I kind of view him like I have two girls, but I view him as one of my sons, and I'm just real pleased with how he's developed, and I'm always pulling for him, obviously, but he has a special place in my heart that I just want to see him do well.
Chris, with the new kickoff rule this year, I think there was only one kickoff fair catch in the preseason. How do you think that's going to change as we get into regular season mode?
I don't see it changing a lot, to be honest with you. I think it'll just be a tool for maybe some teams, but I think that if you kick the ball short, let's say you kick it to the 10-yard line, your returner only has to go 15 yards to get to 25. To me, it's worth taking a shot on goal to get it past the 25 there, But I think there's some scenarios, maybe if a team's penalized and they're kicking off from the 50, I don't think you're going to see any more of the bloop kicks. Obviously, you're going to probably see guys squib those things down so that teams can tackle them inside the 20 and those things. But I don't see it being a huge factor, just another tool possibly for the return team.
I know it's a different skill set, but with that new rule and more squib kicks and more kind of like improvisation, does it help having a kick returner who can also return punts?
I think yes and no. Yes and no. To me, they're both still two different skills. Even with the bloop kick, it's still a kickoff rotation as opposed to the punt ball rotation. So I don't think it's that big of a factor.
You face Atlanta this week. On offense, they had a very powerful rushing attack that can sometimes leave you in, I guess, in questionable positions. When you get the ball back, how important is it for special teams to help with better ball positioning for Panthers offense this week?
Well, we got to try to maintain and help field position. That's what our job is to do, and it's going to be big. And always going into game one, there's a lot of unknowns. You maybe have an idea who they're going to play and who's going to be up for them, but at the same time, there's going to be some other wrinkles. Really, this game will be about us, and I know that's very coach cliche-ish, but it's true. And I think our job as coaches, as you're in the game, you're making your adjustments based on who's out there and those type of things. But we just got to concentrate on being aggressive, but yet making good decisions and helping our team with field position.
Can you talk about Sam Franklin in that effort this year? He's been doing quite well.
No, so Sam, really pleased with his progress and really glad that he's on our team. But what he did last year, that was, to me, he set himself a new standard. So, when a player does that, then it's our job to help him get past that standard. And the way he approaches the meeting room and in practice, he's been great. So I expect him to play well for us.
You already had Raheem and Laviska in the return game, but how does Amir factor in? And do you see like some sort of rotation with those guys? Is one guy going to split duties or?
I always like to kind of use multiple guys, and put different. I think each player has a different skill set, so they're kind of different horses, so to speak, and it's kind of which one you want to ride at that moment. And we'll just kind of the game will help us dictate that.
Any more for Coach?
Do you have extensive horseback riding?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. That's a great question.
His name, the captain. What stands out about his leadership to you when you watch him?
Boy. Well, obviously he's been such a great pro, but I told Coach, like on game day, Johnny and JJ, they're unbelievable on game day, coming up just with in-game suggestions or how they're seeing things, and then just the way, both of them, but Johnny in the meetings, we might be talking about kick return, and he'll make a comment at the end after I install something. I'll say, guys, anything else, any questions? And Johnny will make a point, and it's a very valid point. He understands everything, not just punting. And to have a guy like that where your punter can describe the blocking schemes of what we're doing, that puts a little pressure on the young rookie who's fighting to make the team. And he's going, hey, this punter who's been playing multiple years knows what I'm supposed to do, and maybe I should do that. So it's nice really having those guys.
Who gets more animated at practice, you or Deuce?
I think it's probably Deuce. I'm very low key, which I appreciate. It's great to see everybody.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.